Hello! The other day I got an order in from Schreiner's Iris Gardens of some bearded iris. I'm so excited to have them. I love the way the blooms look. I know that bearded iris, or iris in general, don't really bloom for too long, but these are any beautiful perennials that I can find that I love the look of. I definitely want to get anything that will do well in Alaska in zone 4B. So it's not like too wide of a variety, and I needed some grassy foliage anyways for the garden, for the front landscape, so this is perfect. I already got them in the ground. They really need to take root to survive the winter, so I hope that they do have enough time before the first frost comes. Here, the first frost tends to be around late September, so they've got a month, and I hope that they can do it in that time. I can show you some footage of me getting them in the ground and sort of where I placed it in the front landscaping. But what I wanted to go through also in this video is just, well, first how it came, how the iris rhizomes arrived, and how to plant them, and so just some general things that I've been going through and researching as I've been putting them in the ground, or as I've ordered them. So first, they come in not completely dried out. I have ordered and tried to plant rhizomes, actually, or bearded iris rhizomes last year, and it didn't take. And actually, one thing that I realized, what I had gotten before from a different seller, I bought it online. I forget exactly what retailer I got it from, or what online store I got it from, but they were pretty much dead on arrival. Like, they were so shriveled up and dry, and I had never planted them before, so I just thought that's how they should look. It's sort of like how my ranunculus corms looked. That kind of just like desiccated brown, and then you think, oh, they'll soak up water and become more alive, but they didn't. And nothing happened with them, and they sort of just like withered even more away in the ground. But these looked gorgeous. Some of the leaves were browning at the tips, but I think that's totally to be expected. The roots, I hope, looked like they could just soak up moisture and become alive. There actually were roots already on it, which was important. This order also came with a little booklet on how to grow, which is super helpful, and I've also done some research. So one of the biggest things about planting iris rhizomes is that you want to plant it so that half of the rhizome is above the soil and can see sunlight, and that's very important for the health and the growth of iris. So that's what I ended up doing. I hope it's enough. I do think so. I even have been out there a few times after I've planted it and just checked to make sure that, the top half of the rhizome is still above the surface, is still able to get some sunlight. It's been pretty rainy, which is great because I didn't water these in, so they got watered in from the rain, but they haven't been getting too much sunlight, but I hope they do get to focus on just building their roots. One thing that I didn't do, or I didn't make sure of, was iris tend to prefer being planted in well-draining soil. And what I put it in, I don't think is very well draining. I really just put it in in-ground soil mix that I've been like keeping on in my like no-dig flower beds that I put in the front landscape, and it holds on to a lot of moisture, and it's quite barky. There's a lot of like wood chips in it. So one thing that I could have done, and that I might still do before I mulch it up for the winter, is just add a bunch of sand and try to work that into the soil, and that will help it to be more well draining. Here are some things that I also did, and these are things that I try and do with like tulips and things as well. When I just want to figure out where should I plant these, there are a lot of them, and I can't see what the blooms look like right now. So basically on the itemized list, I went through the website also for all these varieties that I bought, and really just made a note of things like what color they are, how tall they are. That's important for where I put them in the garden, and if they're fragrant, and if they rebloom. And all those things, I just, you know, have it on kind of like a table spreadsheet available for me to look at. And then I sort of roughly decided, here's kind of the shape of the bed. Actually, it's more like that, and where each of the varieties are. And that will help me in the future too, just so I can know. The video I took also, I had the labels next to each variety, just so I can remember in the future, you know, what variety is what. I don't really have any plant tags or stakes to use in the ground. So yeah, I just want to go over quickly the varieties that I did choose. I have Immortality. It's a white iris. It has 2 to 3 stems per rhizome, I think, or per shoot. It reblooms. It has fragrance, so I put this, and it's one of the shorter ones at 29 inches. So this was one of the ones that I wanted to have just right in the walkway to get to the door. I think that will be beautiful. It doesn't get as much sun as the other placements that I had. And I wanted to pair that with Ghost Train. This is a like blackish purple iris that I thought was so cool. I definitely wanted to have something like that in my garden and didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And so I saw this bearded iris and I thought that would be great. So a bit of white, a bit of black, and I have purple elsewhere in the garden as well, so that I think that will tie in nicely. Towards the front, so in the area that's like closest to where the sun comes from on the south side, and this probably gets sun all day, I put in Champagne Elegance and Magical Encounter. So these are like apricot, white, peach colored blooms, and they're quite tall. And yeah, I just think they will look beautiful there. I have them next to some other perennials, some sea holly or eryngium, white glitter and blue glitter eryngium I have in the front there. And just like a couple of very small drifts, like a cluster of 3. I have each of those. And then in that same area, but more towards the north side, I put in a couple of the taller varieties, like the tallest varieties that I have. I put in Open Ocean, which is a light blue, just a beautiful bloom. I think that will go well as well with the like white glitter and blue glitter eryngium. And then I also have a bonus rhizome that I got with my order because I ordered a certain amount called Discovered Treasure. And that's like a pink violet. So I think that will look really great together. Yeah, so some of these varieties are fragrant and rebloom, some of them don't. But even the ones that do say they're reblooming, I'm actually not sure if we have a long enough season here in Alaska to get them to rebloom. It might just be one, and then it'll get too cold and they'll go dormant. Yeah, so we'll just have to see. I'm excited to keep track of that next season, next summer, and see what is gonna happen. It's still cool to have all these unknowns in the garden and see how everything comes together. I might, want to be also changing around where they are. I think iris definitely blooms earlier in the season, like in the spring. I don't know. I'm just waiting to see how it's all gonna look at the different times of the year. Iris is one of those things that I think is great to start early, or that I'm very excited about starting early and having them mature and having them just duplicate and being able to separate them out and give them away. I feel like that is just, I don't know, my idea of what having a garden is a lot of that. So I'm excited to see my iris grow in the front gardens and how it matures and how it helps my garden to mature. Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick video on this and everything I did to get it in the ground and planted. I have a huge list of chores, garden and house chores that I've been going through. So I'm gonna get back to work on this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.